Alright. Hello there. So, I'm supposed to be doing some ninja training with Snake Eyes. But all I want to do is talk about comic books. So, don't tell him I'm here. Okay guys, hello. And welcome back to the channel. So, it's been a while since we've talked about comic books. I've been wanting to do some comic book reviews for a long time, but they just haven't had the time. But we're finally here. So, I have something cool to show you guys. Not this. Wait, that's not what. I'm so easily distracted. Sorry about that. Okay, so what are we doing today? I think you can probably guess. We're gonna talk about Snake Eyes Deadgame. So, first thing first, this comic book. I was really curious about this, and I really wanted to check it out because it's by Rob Liefeld. So it's written by Rob Liefeld and Chad Bowers. And you guys probably know who Rob Liefeld is, but if you don't, then that is the creator of Deadpool. And it's kind of interesting that Chad Bowers is also involved in this one. He did the script. I'm going to read over who's involved in this very soon. Just give me a second. So Rob Liefeld and Chad Bowers did this comic book as well a couple of years ago. And here as well, Chad Bowers is on the script. And this was, I was very excited about this as well because Rob Liefeld was finally coming back to Deadpool. And this is a very fun, crazy, weird comic book. Throws a lot of stuff at you, and the story is a bit of a mess. And at best, I guess I can say the same thing about Snake Eyes Deadgame. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. So, there are a lot of people involved in this. There are a lot of big names here. You have Rob Liefeld on the story and the art. And you have script dialogue by Chad Bowers. You have colors by Federico Blee. And you have a lot of other people involved, like Adelso Corona, Corey Hampshire, and there are a lot of big names here. You have Ryan Otley, who was involved in Invincible. You have Neil Adams. Neil Adams was a big comic book creator, writer guy at DC. He's the main co-creator of Raj Al Ghul. Ray? Anyway, you know who I'm talking about. And you also have Kevin Eastman. Look at this list. I'm just going to show it to you. These are all the guys also involved in the additional ink. And I don't know how much involved they actually were. I'm thinking maybe they created some alternate covers, or maybe they did something here and there. I don't know, but it's kind of cool that he's gotten all these people on this comic book. Now, this and Rob Liefeld. There's so much cool to talk about surrounding the comic book. I think that is almost more interesting than the comic book itself. So why is it interesting that Rob Liefeld is doing a Snake Eyes comic book, a G.I. Joe comic book? Well, first of all, Rob Liefeld was a G.I. Joe fan, and he grew up with G.I. Joe as well. And his character, Deadpool, everybody knows that Deadpool is kind of a spoof version of Deathstroke, and kind of based on Deathstroke, but he was also inspired, Deadpool was also inspired from another character, namely Snake Eyes. And that is kind of funny and interesting because Snake Eyes is like this badass ninja with guns and swords, and he doesn't talk. He can't talk. And then you have Deadpool. And Deadpool just can't shut up. And he's also this badass ninja dude with guns and swords. So they're not that different. I can see how Deadpool is inspired from Snake Eyes. Yeah, and Rob Liefeld also has said that Snake Eyes was always kind of, or G.I. Joe and Snake Eyes, it was always on his bucket list, something he wanted to do. So, yeah. Let's check it out. Is it any good? Is it bad? What is this comic book about? I mean, I was also drawn in straight away because my favorite part of the G.I. Joe universe is everything surrounding Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow, the ninja part. That's the coolest part of G.I. Joe, in my opinion. I'm just gonna show you guys something else that is very weird with this comic book. I read this, and then afterwards I read the text on the back here, and it makes no sense. I would never have guessed. I don't think the person who wrote this really read the comic book. I'm going to read this, and then we're going to talk about what the comic book is actually about. Okay, so Snake Eyes has long been the most mysterious member of the G.I. Joe team, but now he'll finally be forced to play his hand. How long can he keep his past classified? And what deadly secrets will come back to haunt him? The Joe's silent ninja finds himself in a race against time and against Storm Shadow. There will be only one winner, but there's no limit on those who fall to the Deadgame. Dun dun dun! Will Snake Eyes get a lucky roll? Ha ha. Or has his luck finally run out? This is so generic. I mean, I think somebody just got the job to write something for this, and they didn't have the time to read the comic, but they're like, yeah, ninjas, Storm Shadow, Snake Eyes. I remember something from Snake Eyes, some classified stuff. Yeah, I'll just put that in there. Nobody will know. Nobody will notice. Okay, so this is such a crazy comic book with so much stuff. Rob Liefeld throws everything at you. It's like a lot of cool ninja action, some cool blood and gore, and you have he mixes in so many things, and it's very cheesy, over the top. It kind of reminds me of it could have been almost like a Saturday morning episode of G.I. Joe. Okay, so our story starts in Norway. Alright, in 782 AD. So, on the first page, you have Thor, yes, the god of thunder, Thor, fighting a ninja god named Kirigan, or Kirigan, something like that. And they're facing each other and fighting, and this is how the comic book starts. So they clash sword against hammer, and then on the next page we are at present day, and we're in Svalbard. And I mean, Svalbard is kind of Norway as well. So it looks like Snake Eyes jumps out of a plane or a chopper or something, parachute, I don't know. He just jumps down on the mountain, and then he's running until he gets to this hidden secret base where he beats up and kills the guards, and there's some cool ninja fighting. And then he frees a prisoner. And who is the prisoner? I mean, look at that. Rob Liefeld is so cool drawing characters. And I mean, the badass factor. Just look at that. That is so badass. That's how you should draw ninjas. Okay, anyway, I'm sidetracking. So this badass Snake Eyes dude, he frees a prisoner, and it's none other than Joe Colton, the original G.I. Joe. And then we have Roadblock and like our G.I. Joe team. He saves Roadblock and Joe Colton, and they escape. And then somewhere else, there is this ninja god, Kerrigan, who wakes up from the dead. I live again. So he's back. He's back. And Snake Eyes attacks Kerrigan. I mean, you kind of have to just go with it. So he fights the ninja god, and the ninja god turns into like a mummy. Mummy with like, I don't know, like with his I don't know. I mean, I don't know. It makes no sense, but it's kind of cool. It's cool to see him turn into a Venom-like mummy. Why not? I mean, yeah, why not? But then we have Scarlet coming and saving Snake Eyes, and they kind of... Here we have the Joes. It's cool that we get to see some other characters as well from the G.I. Joe team. Yeah, and they escape. So, I don't know how much I should say about this comic book. I'll just say it like this. It's really fun, and it starts good, but then towards the end, it becomes really messy. And I didn't know what I was reading and what the story was at some point, but it was still fun. And I have to give credit to the art and like the visuals. It's just beautiful. It's really cool. And action. Rob Liefeld is really good with action. So I had fun reading this comic book from beginning to end, even when I wasn't like making sense of anything. And of course, we have Storm Shadow showing up. So Storm Shadow joins the fight, but he's helping Snake Eyes. He's not against Snake Eyes like this fella here wrote. And they fight this god together. And the Kerrigan ninja god guy, he also has like a daughter, Olympia. So now we're bringing Greek mythology into this. And you have like Midgard's Omen. You have so many crazy things here. And then suddenly, you have some new characters popping out of nowhere. And we have a guy named Atomic Man, Mike Power. And when I read this, I was like, who the hell is Atomic Man? Why do we have superheroes in a G.I. Joe comic book? And then we get another character that I'd never heard of before. Namely, who was the next guy? Let me see for a second. Oh yeah, we also had Bullet Man. And not Bullet Man from DC. This is Hasbro's unlicensed kind of copycat character, Bullet Man, with the same name. So I had to check this out. Like, who are these guys? I've never heard of these two characters. They were never in the G.I. Joe cartoons. And it turns out both Bullet Man and Atomic Man, they are Joes, but they are from the 1960s toy line, the original G.I. Joe toy line, and they're not included in the 80s cartoon or that toy line. So this is why I hadn't heard about these guys, because I grew up with the 80s G.I. Joe. But it kind of makes sense that Rob Liefeld would bring these characters into the comic book, because, like, I mean, he must have been a kid early in the 70s, and this is from late 60s. The original G.I. Joes were from 60s something. So these are probably the characters he grew up with. I'm guessing, but it's still interesting, and it was kind of fun. Yeah, so we have a lot of ninja action. We have Thor, we have Thor's hammer, we have lots of crazy things happening. And then the Baroness and Destro, they turn up. And what are they there for? They want the sword, and they want to recruit like somebody to lead the Cobra clan or the Cobra organization. Somebody better than Cobra Commander, because Cobra Commander's incompetent and they're kind of tired of him. I don't know what to say anymore. So, yeah. Snake Eyes, Deadgame, crazy comic book. But I did enjoy it, and I do enjoy Rob Liefeld comic book stuff. So if you're a G.I. Joe fan, I would say with all the crazy inconsistencies and the nonsensical story, this is still better than a lot of other G.I. Joe comic books I've read recent years. Yeah, I would recommend this. I can't say it's a good comic book, but it's a fun comic book. And sometimes comic books that are not good are still fun. And you can even have good comic books that aren't that fun. So there's nothing wrong with a bad, cool, fun, enjoyable comic book. And if that's what if that's what you feel like, sometimes that's what I want to read. So yeah, check it out. All right, that's all for today. I'm gonna drink my coffee. Cold coffee. Yeah. Anyway, I gotta go train. See you guys later. Ooh. All right. Take care, guys. Ninja, vanish!